Hey y'all, so it's your girl Malay J, and I'm back with another Wind Down Wednesday. As you can see, I have another special guest. Introduce yourself.
My name is Chef Chris,
And
owner operator of Attaboys and Harding Harbor Seafood.
okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, first of all, let me tell you where we're at. We're in Marion, Ohio. Tell us a little bit about this place, because this is my second time being here, and I know that a lot of people don't really know about it. So tell us a little bit about it.
We're just a Southern comfort food restaurant in the heart of downtown Marion. I started this thing about 7 years ago now. Full service restaurant. We have a full bar. We do everything from chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits, gumbos.
Oh, the gumbo is crazy.
Crazy. Thank you. Yeah, so we're just working. Across the street, I have another restaurant. It's in President Harding's Hotel, so it's super dope. It's a seafood restaurant, a seafood concept, and the menu's crazy over there as well.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
I had something over there. What did I have? I got black and tilapia, and that was so good. Yes, it was so good.
Different.
So tell us a little bit about the area. Like, how did you? Because you're not from here, right?
No, so I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I've been here about 15 years.
How did you find this place? It's like so.
I landed here. My kid's mom, she was originally from Marion. We met in Pittsburgh in college. Did our externship in Atlantic City. She wanted to move back home. I decided to come back with her, and I've been here ever since.
Oh yeah. Do you like it here?
I love it. When I first came, of course, it was different. It was a culture shock for me.
Yeah.
It was super crazy, but I learned to love it. I love it a lot.
For real.
For entrepreneur, I look at Marion as like a blank canvas. So you kind of like.
That's exactly what it seems like here, because there's not like it seems like there's a lot of emotion going on as far as like people come outside and stuff, but it just doesn't seem like there's like a whole lot of like big stuff to do. You know what I mean?
And it's coming. It's coming. When I first came, a lot of these shops were empty. There was people out, but it was the wrong crowd. Now you can start to see that shift. We're getting the right type of people. And people want to come out, and they love Marion. They support. I feel like about Ohio, period. Like, this is the Buckeye State. They get behind. If they love you, they're going to get behind you.
Right. So what made you... Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. Tell us just a little bit more about yourself, like about your upbringing. Like, where did you grow up at in Philly?
Yeah, so I grew
Like, who
up
are
in
you?
North Philly. I had both parents. My mom was in medical school a lot of my life, so I was with my grandmother. So food was always a part of my life the whole time growing up, just like in the kitchen with grandma, everyone coming over to grandma's house, Sunday dinners. So like I kind of look at the restaurant the same way, you know, this is grandma's dining area and that's the kitchen. And you gotta just carry it like that. But I grew up in Philly, high school, graduated Philadelphia, went to school with Al.
Yeah. Shout out
High
Uncle
school
Al.
Uncle Al, yeah. Then I just needed to change. I was 17, 18, I just graduated, and I'm like, I didn't go to college right away. And there was a lot of just negativity in the city. I mean, that's like every major city right now. And my mom just like, hey, what do you want to do?
Yeah, figure it
You
out.
gotta figure it out. I mean, so I had never even been to Pittsburgh. I never heard about Pittsburgh really. But she had signed me up for culinary school. She's like, you want to cook? I'm gonna sign you up. It was like a week away. And she reminded me, like, you leave in a week. You leave in a week.
Yeah, not 1 week.
Yeah. And I took a leap of faith. I prayed about it,
And that's what landed you at Pitt.
landed me at Pitt.
That's crazy, and that's one of the biggest universities in the city. So you really, really jumped straight into the city life.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So.
I fell in love with Pittsburgh too. I love Pittsburgh. It's kind of different than Philly, but it's a vibe here too. It's a vibe.
It's a lot different than Philly. If you ask me, it's a whole lot different than Philly.
It's a vibe.
So what made you? So you been knew that you wanted to cook. Like even before you went to school, you knew that cooking was what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So even my mom, we talk about it. She's like, man, I remember you growing up saying you gonna work at McDonald's, and they just thought it was so funny because I'm a kid, right? Right, but yeah, man, anybody who hung out with me, they knew I was a fat kid. You come to my house, I'm making funnel cakes, I'm just making stuff.
I know that's right.
So cooking was just always something that I wanted to do. But I kind of took it a little further. I just, there was a point in my life where I was working at a Burger King. And I'm like, hey, I'm never gonna work at a fast food restaurant coming from Philly, but hey, there was just no jobs for me here.
Yeah.
So I'm like working at Burger King, and I start working at Chipotle, and I'm just praying to God, like, God, this isn't what you got for me. I got a culinary degree. This just can't be it.
Right.
And then I landed the prison
Oh,
job.
this was after you graduated.
This is after I graduated,
Really?
and I'm here. So I came here after working at the Brigada, after having this, I feel like, good culinary career.
Yeah.
And I come here, and it was just so hard to find a job. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to Burger King, and I just didn't want to do it. My pride.
Yeah.
And it was crazy too, because I felt like it was just a test through God, because I had a bigger beard than this.
Right. For real?
So I walk in this Burger King, and the lady's like, if you want this job, cut your beard off. So I'm like,
Oh, you had to cut it all the way
so
off.
I cut it all the way off.
Ah.
And it was just a testament, like, hey,
Yeah.
God just keeps testing me. So I did it. And even there, I just still felt like it was still more. I landed the prison job, and I was working in the prison, and I just felt like even that was just not enough.
Yeah.
You know? Just fell into my lap.
So how did it fall into your lap? Because it seems like basically your path was kind of like forcing you to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, you couldn't find a job, so you had to create one, and you ended up creating this, like, which is really big. So how did it fall into your lap? How did you find the space?
So I wouldn't even say fall into your lap. It was a bunch of work. So let me rephrase that. It didn't just fall into my lap. I put a lot of work in. So I was working at the prison, and I felt like I was just making the prison a lot of money. And it was bad. I was seeing people that looked like me and people who looked like my dad. They would have to ask me to go to the bathroom. And for me, it was just not something that I felt like I wanted to do.
Yeah.
There's some people that's great at that. It just wasn't for me in the long term. And everything's by plate costs, and we're feeding these dudes off 65 cents. And it was just a lot. The profit was crazy. It was just bad.
Yeah.
So I created this company called Waffle Chris Soul Food Catering. And I just started catering and catering and catering. And one of my buddies, he owns a barbershop. And I catered for his son's graduation, which was cool. And there was just people around, and they liked my food. So he knew my passion, and I always talked about just opening a restaurant. He was one of those guys, if you're sitting in this barber chair, he's going to encourage you.
Right.
Nathan the barber, shout out to my boy.
Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah. But so he was just pushing me. There was this lady named Lois Fisher. She owns a lot of buildings downtown. She just believes in entrepreneurs. I was like, hey, I want you to meet her. I want to introduce you to her. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, you think I should bring anything? You just
Right.
So at this time, I was known for making like chocolate covered strawberries, and then of course Waffle Chris. I made like a bunch of waffle sandwiches and stuff like that. So I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna come, and I made some waffle sandwiches real fast. I went and made some chocolate covered strawberries, and I took it up to her.
Yeah.
The first time I met her. And her husband was there. She took the food and shared it with him. And she was just impressed how I came and bought food. And she said, I like you. If you give me a business plan, I got something good for you. Shit, I've told tons of people to do this, and nobody has done it.
Yeah.
So you give me a business plan, I got something nice for you. So I'm like, what? So I came and created this business plan. It was a 21-page business plan. It had a bunch of all the other restaurants and things that were around where I wanted to open a restaurant at. And she was just blown away by it. And then she took me down to this space across the street where my other restaurant is. And she said, you can have this. I'm like, oh, cool. So
Wow.
that Friday, she was leaving for vacation. And that Friday, she told me, I read over your business plan, and I really just don't think that it will work for this space. But I'll talk to you when I get back. So now I'm like, oh, this is a start to entrepreneurship. It's a emotional roller coaster.
Right.
But this is the start of it.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, now I'm down, and I'm waiting for her to come back. And she came back in about 2 weeks. And she lived in this nice, beautiful loft. I was on the second floor, and the third floor of her loft was abandoned. It was like birds flying around, but it just needed a lot of work.
For real?
Yeah. But if you went on her loft, you couldn't tell that was upstairs. It was so beautiful. And she said, I wanted to show you this, and then she brought me here. And this place was abandoned. It had birds flying around. It was really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
She was like, this is yours. If you got a vision, I believe in you. You can kind of make it your own. Have at it. And I was still working at the prison this time, I believe. I got off at work at like 1 o'clock, so I would leave there and come here and just start working on the floors. This floor didn't look like this. The walls didn't look like this. This was a straight shoot. And We was just like working.
Yeah, I seen a picture on your Instagram like when it was kind of raw.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. So we like kind
Yeah.
of put that together. And it took a year and a half to do it.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it was a lot. Like, just going through it, you know, you got the bumps and like, so we really did this floor ourselves. And when we pulled it up, it was like literally a million nails in this floor. And it was so hard.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of prayer. A lot of times you wanted to quit and give up.
Yeah.
But I just believed in God and believed in the vision, so we just kept plugging away.
I know that's right. So we know a lot about your belief system, obviously.
You
Oh
better
wait,
believe it.
this is Wine Down Wednesday, right? And we
Yeah.
ain't sipping on no wine.
Right.
Because we done hop right into the story. All right,
Yeah.
so before we continue on with the story, let's start with one of these. Which one you want to start with? Because you brought them, say.
You tell me. I know you said this is your favorite. I'm a rosé type of guy.
For real, you like rosé?
Of course.
Well,
That's Uncle Al's special.
I've never, I know, I swear, I've never had this. So,
You wanna try it?
Yeah, let's try that
Right.
one.
Let me see if I can get one of my servers to pour us up some glasses.
Yes.
Before-
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steph. Appreciate you.
And you gotta tell us about your bottle.
Yeah.
There's a cheat code on the back. I be cheating on the back when I don't know what's really going on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Ooh, you poured me a big girl glass. You gonna drink it too?
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Pour me up, Steph. Please, man.
We'll probably finish it, possibly. Well, I don't know, because you started us off big.
Right. Let me see this cheat code.
The chica. It smells nice and dry, just how I like it.
So you like dry?
Yeah, I like dry wine, especially red. I don't like white dry wine at all. I don't really like white wine at all, for real.
No white? No?
Not really, unless it's like a white Moscato. But I'm not a sweet fan. Okay, so where's this from?
So this is a Bay Bridge from California.
From
So
Cali?
actually snatched this off the bar from across the street. We kind of run
Cheat
with,
it.
try to keep like seafood, bay-themed restaurant, bay-themed
yeah.
bottles, anything that's water
Yeah.
related to that. Try to
That's
sell that
cute.
stuff over there. But it's good. People
Yeah.
seem to like it.
Well,
I like
let's
it.
do a toast.
Yeah,
Toast
let's
to
toast.
Wine Down Wednesday.
You better believe
Attaboys.
it. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
It's not bad. So do you like your wine sweet or dry?
Dry.
Dry?
Like I like that halfway point, like dry, sweet, but like this is perfect to me. Like perfect. Like I like Pinots, like yeah, I like
That's
dry for real, but a little hint of sweet.
That's dope. So what else you got for me?
Woo. Okay, so we were talking about what you went through to make. So no, first of all, I want to touch on how God just blessed you with this place, and I feel like what that is how you were saying like you were getting tested, and a lot of times like when you want something, I feel like God kind of puts a couple of how bad do you want it layers in front of the gift.
That's for sure. That's for
Like
sure.
I swear, and then once you like kind of break down those walls and you still stay obedient and consistent, and like you show Him that you're willing to work for it, it's like boom, there's just a gift at the end of the tunnel. So
Yeah. A lot of times, like looking back on the journey now, I feel like I needed every single thing that happened along the way to make me what I am now. So like going through the journey, it sucks. Sometimes it's good. You got the ups and downs, but when you get to the point, or even halfway there, because I mean we all still growing, it's all worth it.
yeah, I say that all the time. Like life is such a beautiful. It's kind of like a I don't know. It's like a storybook. Like even when stuff is bad, like you gotta appreciate the bad because it makes the good better. and like it really humbles you, and like I just feel like it really takes your appreciation up a notch. So like even if stuff might be painful when you're going through it, you still have to appreciate it, because it's like when you get to that gift, it's like, oh shoot, versus if everything was always good, you'll be like, oh, here's just another good thing,
Exactly.
I'm owed this.
Exactly. And that's so true.
Yeah.
I try to like take the good and the bad the same way too, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
And they're all lessons, like whether it's good lessons, tough lessons, like it's always something you can use. So I'm proud of you. This is so nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For you to have that in Raw. And you said that was like 7 years ago?
Yeah, so 7 years here, and then kind of did the same thing across the street. It's been 3 years over there.
Yeah. That's lit. So how was it like getting your clientele up? Like, did people just take to it all of a sudden, or like how was that?
So I feel like, again, everything is in God's time. So there was a lot of stuff that we were doing even along the way. So there was this business plan competition, and then again, Lois, she loved that business plan, and they had this huge business plan competition over at the Palace Theater, where they did entrepreneurs. I think there was 5 or 6 of us, and we all got up and we read our business plan and just told people about our business, and it was maybe about 300 or 400 people there that night. Yeah. And first place won like $2,500, and we didn't actually win. We came in second place. But the exposure we got and just getting the story out was major. It was crazy. I almost cried in that day too. Just on stage, and I was talking about my grandmother. It was crazy. But people seeing us, how raw we were, and they were just regular people, and I feel like that was major. There was also another thing before we opened. They had this thing called the Taste of Marion. It's a cooking competition. They do all the restaurants in Marion. They just cook. They bring their best dish, and then people buy tickets. It's like a $50 ticketed event. You get 10 tickets.
That is lit.
So there's actually more than 10 restaurants who take participation, but you can only go to 10 different ones. You get 1 ticket. You get 10 tickets, and you're allowed to go to 10 different
so you
places.
can try 10 different dishes.
Exactly. And our first year, we wasn't even in it. So we were cooking, and they called us like, hey, you can't be in it this year because you guys don't have a restaurant, and legally you can't cook food out of your house.
Yeah.
So we were like, so this the day of the event, the lady who was in charge of the event, she called me like, hey man, we really want you guys to be in it.
Yeah.
We got the health department to allow you guys to cook your food over at the Palace. We want you guys to be in it. I'm like, it's like 3 hours to the event.
Oh, so you didn't do it?
I definitely did it. We did it, and we won.
Oh,
and we wasn't even open, so it was crazy. Yeah, we won, and we've won every year ever since.
For real?
That's
crazy. That's hard, for real, because like you didn't even expect to do it, and you pulled out and won anyways. Dude, that's hard.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I love that. So what did you end up making?
So we made Philly loaded potato skins. So it's like a twice baked potato. We take the potato skin, take the potato filling out, add some cheese, bacon, some Philly meat on top, some peppers, some onions, some cheese.
That sounds fire.
It goes crazy. Yeah, people love it. It's actually on our menu too.
I was about to ask you that. Do y'all serve that here?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what else did I want to talk about? On here, we're always talking about like purpose. I know what your belief system is because you mentioned God. So I feel like your faith. When did you realize in your life, like, okay, cooking is like my purpose? Like, I know it was your passion, but when did you figure out that it was like your purpose in alignment with God and your belief system?
Yeah, so I felt like even up until like the Burger King and Chipotle, it was still just cooking. But when it really became like a purpose for me is when I started working at a prison. There was dudes doing like 50 years and 60 years and doing life, and dudes who have been down for 30 years. And, like they say the biggest thing in prison to keep guys' spirits up is their phone calls, their visits, and their food.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of time people don't take into account, like the food is major.
Yeah.
I had dudes coming up to me, man, I've been down 30 years. This is the best potato I've had in 30 years. Like, this is the best, just simple things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not my place to judge anybody, and I'm not there to judge. I'm just there to cook good food.
Right.
No matter what it is.
I know that made you feel good too. Like, oh, okay, I'm appreciated around here.
Yeah. And then just seeing, so then I got to also teach too, and just seeing how dudes was taking to it, and like food was a big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
So was it like, were you cooking for like the specialty meals? Because don't they have in prison like specialty meals where people could pay for it on their commissary or something? That's what you was making?
Yeah. So that's it's something called Fresh Favor here in the state of Ohio, I think, and they do it twice a month. And they could only order twice a month, but we did do that too, and that was big too. But they could only get that twice a month. My biggest thing was just making sure those 3 meals a day.
Oh, so you was cooking their 3 meals?
Yeah, so
I know they was thinking, God.
Yeah. Technically, we don't cook. The inmates cook. But even giving them skill, like it was like just things that, like, hey, I didn't know that. I didn't know you can do this.
Yeah.
Like, hey, they putting a lot of water in there. Let's if you add a little bit of flour and make it roux, it's going to be tighter and it won't just be all water. Just small techniques and things that they didn't know that we did to make the food better.
Okay, so you was more so teaching them how to cook better. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, in the future, do you plan on doing any like cooking classes, or how do you want to give back to the community here?
Yeah, so I developed this program. It's called Cooking for Kids. It's super dope. We kind of get donations from all the small businesses. It's a summer program. We take kids from the ages of 13 to 15, and we just teach them how to cook.
Yeah, that's cool. What, you bring them into these kitchens?
Yep, so we bring them into the restaurant. This year we did it outside. We partnered with a church, and we did it outside. It was 5 days. But in the future, we're just trying to get bigger and bigger and make it a whole summer thing.
Really? Do you ever see yourself doing like internships or something like that for culinary art students like how you was?
Yeah, so we there's a school in Marion right now. It's called Tri Rivers. And we get a bunch of their kids that work for me now. So and they one of my head cook, he's back there now. His name's Andrew. He came for me fresh out of Tri Rivers. And I think he was like 17.
Oh, wow.
He's
and that's like a trade school, like a culinary art
it's a
program.
trade school. So they have a bunch of different other programs, but they have culinary there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we talked a whole lot about business. Let's get a little more personal. So tell me about like how your life was growing up, because you're from Philly, and for you to transfer here, like I know that that's different. So who were you in Philly? Like who's Chris before Marion?
Before Marion, I mean, I was just a regular kid growing up in the inner city. I played sports. Of course, I was a knucklehead.
What's a knucklehead?
Just doing stupid stuff. Just doing things that you ain't supposed to be doing, I feel like. But just with the grace of God, I was able to shake that stuff off and just become the man I am today, become a businessman, become a good father. I mean, I feel like just growing up in the inner city, kids have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah.
And if it's not directed in the right way, it's easy to get in trouble and do stupid stuff.
That's definitely
By the grace of God, I've never gotten any legal trouble, so that held me back.
I'm cracking up. So on this show, we like to play fun fact. I meant to tell you this in the beginning. So like randomly, I'll just call out fun fact. And you gotta give me a fun fact.
Okay.
So like even if you got like a little story, like, oh, when I was a kid, I had did this, or what is like a fun fact about you? Let's start off now. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
People always try to struggle with it.
Right. Just like a fun fact.
You just gotta shoot.
I like to ride dirt bikes, and I just broke my finger 3 weeks ago.
Fun fact.
And
you recording with a broken finger.
Yeah, I'm recording with a broken finger. I took the thing off.
I'm cracking up. That's a Philly thing, though.
Yeah, dirt bikes.
Yeah, I lived in Philly for like probably 2 months. Probably like 2 or 3 months. And I seen that off rip. Like as soon as I got there was people riding dirt bikes down the street. Like I'm like, okay, this is just a thing here.
Yeah.
Like that's a part of y'all culture.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Philly culture?
Food. Food is fire, man. I mean, you can't go to Philly and just not pig out. I feel like Pittsburgh's the same way, but Philly.
You said it not pig out.
Man. I'm a foodie. I'm all about just like different food and presentation and seeing how other people do it. Like when I was in Pittsburgh, there was this chick, We went to this place. They had like French fries and
Hermanis.
yes.
Ah.
But there was this one chick though. It was dope because there was one lady. She was cooking for the whole restaurant. She was just
What, at Hermanis?
yeah. She was one chick. She was dogging it.
For real?
She was just cooking for everybody. And
Said
I'm
she was dogging
like,
it.
that's fire. So
I thought
I'm
she
a
was going to
foodie.
say Originals maybe, but Originals is gone.
It's gone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Originals. That was like one of, I feel like everybody from my generation and up, that was like one of our trademarks. And it's gone now. That's so sad, but I'm a foodie as well. So like that's like food is one of my favorite things about culture. Like anywhere that I go, and I think the DMV might be my favorite
DMV?
place to go eat.
Yeah. I like the
What? And
My
I
mom
love-
stayed in Virginia.
For real?
Yeah.
And I love seafood. So Maryland, oh my gosh, they got some of the best seafood ever.
That's facts. It's fresh,
Yeah,
right out the water.
yeah,
You ever been to Atlantic City?
yeah.
It's good down
Oh
there.
my goodness, I went to what's that place that I went to in Atlantic City? It's like this place that they recreated a rainforest inside. You ever go there? I forget what it's called. I think it's called Tropical Forest Cafe or something like
Okay.
that. But they like recreated this rainforest inside. It has a really big tree in it. It's one of the hardest things I ever experienced. I loved it, and they had really, really fresh seafood in there,
Yes.
and it wasn't super expensive either. Like it
Yeah.
was.
Well priced.
Yes, it was really, really good. That was like probably my favorite part of the trip was that food.
That's what I'm talking about.
So one of your favorite things about Philly culture is food.
Food?
You're answering these questions so like modestly, and I'm trying to think.
Oh no.
Tell us something about like what's one of your favorite dishes from your grandmother, and do you know how to make it?
Yeah, so her thing was fish.
Fish?
She could fry fish crazy.
For real?
Yeah, it's like so back in the day in Philly, we used to have like dudes who like drive around with like pickup trucks or vans, and they would sell like fresh fish or fresh fruit. And they on a loudspeaker like fish man, and they say,
For
"Oh,
real?
it's wow."
That's lit.
I really wish they had that now, though.
I wish
And
they
they
had
saying-
something like that in Pittsburgh. We don't have nothing like that.
And they like saying like all the or if it's fruit or fish, like all the types of fish or fruit they got. So like I got silver trout, I got It's wild. It's wild.
That's hard.
Yeah, so she would always get. I remember her fish was silver trout, so she would always get trout, and this fish had the head on it. It's like yeah, cleaning the fish and then frying it up. It was fish. And,
Still bones in.
yeah, bones was in. Yeah.
I hate trying to cook like freshly caught fish, especially like trout stuff that has little tiny bones. Cause you can't like, there's no way to debone it like with one. There's just no way.
There and there.
I hate eating around teeny weeny bones.
Yeah, me too.
I don't
won't
like,
do it.
but she cooked it real good.
She cooked it good.
Yeah.
And I used to eat it on bread,
Yeah.
hot sauce.
I'm cracking up. That's the ghetto. That's a ghetto meal. Fried fish on bread with hot sauce.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
I'm cracking up. I've never been a hot sauce girl.
No? I just became a hot sauce fan.
Never. I've never been a hot sauce
I'm a
girl.
ketchup dude.
Bro, I like ketchup too. I ain't gonna lie.
I
Like,
put it on everything.
I like anything on fries though. Like, I'll dip my fries in anything like blue cheese, honey mustard,
Yeah, I can see that.
just anything for a
Yeah.
barbecue sauce. I think that's it though. Ketchup, cheese,
I didn't get
ranch.
hip to ranch to Ohio.
For real?
Yeah, we was a blue cheese in Philly. Like everything's blue cheese. The ranch is like Ohio.
I'll choose blue cheese over ranch. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I like it. Like for chicken, fries, all that. So what's one of your favorite dishes just overall, like period, out of all the stuff you've ever had? And where's it from?
That's like so hard to ask a chef.
I know.
That's like
I know.
I really like so much stuff. So it's just like and I'm always looking for the next thing. Like,
I don't know my favorite food either, so I understand the struggle.
I don't know, because I can eat this and it's good, and then I can eat this. It's
Well,
hard
what's
to
like a category like Italian food, Caribbean, seafood?
I love Jamaican food. I really love Jamaican food a lot. So I love Jamaican.
You like red snapper?
I love
Or
Jamaican.
you one of them? I don't think I ever ate that before.
I did head on. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I
all
don't
the
think I've ever
spices.
had it.
It's really good. It's really good with the rice and beans. It's really good. It's really
No,
good.
Jamaican rice. No, African rice.
African rice is crazy.
When I was in Houston, I lived in Houston for a little bit as well. I move around and stuff like that, and I love food. So there was this African restaurant in Houston that I had, and they had like I don't know what kind of fish it was, but it was like excuse me, it was the full fish, and they had it over like some coconut rice, and it was like coconut and pepper rice, but it was fire.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what it is about Jamaican and African, like their rice.
I seen the thing. It was on like Instagram or something. It was like, what country has the best rice? I forget what they were calling it. They're like Trinidad,
Yeah.
Senegal.
Yeah, like,
I'm into it though. I love
Yeah.
rice. I like Chinese food too though.
Me too. I don't know if I want to say. I guess I gotta say that's one of my favorites. I do love Chinese
love
food.
Chinese food.
And like, I like the cheapest, dirtiest corner Chinese
store.
spot.
Yeah,
I love that. It's so
I love
good.
Chinese food.
So, how old are you?
38.
38.
Yeah.
You look kind of younger.
It's good. Thank you.
I want to say you good black don't crack.
You better believe it.
So you was born in
85.
85?
Yeah.
All right, so you're an 80s baby. Tell us one of your favorite memories about the 80s. If you remember at all. You only had 5 years.
Right. I don't even know.
You don't know?
No, the 90s were dope though. I'm a big R&B guy, so music.
Yeah.
I love R&B music.
I feel like this place is kind of like music inspired. Like, does it have anything to do with like, when I walked in here the first time I ever seen it, it kind of just reminded me of like 1940s.
That's the vibe we were going for, like old
Yeah.
school, speakeasy type of
Yeah.
vibe, yeah.
Like where they would be singing blues in the corner and like, yeah, that's the type of vibe this gives. Is that what you were going for?
Exactly, yep.
For real?
This and we do live music this Friday at 6 8. We got a live band coming in. So every other weekend we try to do music.
Yeah. What kind of music do you usually bring in?
We bring in all different types. As long as they're good. Something for real.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring customers in and what the customers like. So
Yeah.
a lot of these bands they bring a crowd too. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
That's lit. So like, it's typically just instrumental like bands and.
No, so we bring singers in. I've had singers, just guys who play saxophones. Just depends.
That's what's up.
Just depends. And as long as it fits our vibe too. I mean, because we still get people who like. I've never had rock and roll, so I never. But just
Yeah, that wouldn't make no
blues.
sense in
Yeah,
here.
it's just the vibe. As long as you fit our vibe.
So like, you'll have R&B people in here and stuff like
Definitely.
Yeah,
One
that's
thing
cool.
we're actually about to try to do. So every Sunday we do $9.99 chicken dinners. It's just something we always do. You get 3 huge pieces of leg quarters for $9.99 with 2 sides.
that. It's every Sunday?
Every Sunday. So we're trying to start a church and chicken.
Oh,
Church and chicken.
yeah.
So we're trying to get with a bunch of the local churches who have like choirs or maybe even praise and worship teams who just maybe want to come
That'll
in
be
on a
so
Sunday
cute.
just for an hour.
Yes, that'll be so
Yeah, and
nice.
then just
What kind of church? Are there black churches around here?
yeah, there is. There
For
is.
real?
Yep, yep.
Oh, cool.
There's tons of them. There's tons of them.
I mean, church is church, but I was just
Understand?
wondering.
Yeah,
like,
for
you know?
sure. Yeah, for sure. I understand.
Yeah. All right, so one of the last things I think I want to ask you is just like, so you grew up in Philly. That's like a major city. You know, there's trouble to get into. You claim you was a knucklehead when you was young. So what would you tell like a kid who would be considered a knucklehead? Because like honestly, for you to be, you know, a black dude from Philly to come to Marion, Ohio, and just like open restaurants and create this career is not common. You know what I mean? So like, what would you tell someone if they were looking to do something similar? Even just entrepreneurship, period. Like,
It just keep God first, stay prayed up, but you still definitely have to put the work in. I feel like a lot of times too, like one of my biggest things was anger. So I was for real. I mean, it's just what it was.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned that, and I feel like a lot of kids too, they just got a lot of anger.
yeah. What were you angry about though?
Just stupid stuff. Just
Yeah. Just wanting your way for
yeah.
real.
And I was super spoiled, so there was no reason for me to be angry. But I feel like just being in Philly, you gotta be tough.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just gotta put this hard exterior on where we really don't have to be that. But I feel like throughout the day in life, I feel like even life is a bunch of moments. can't let one moment destroy the day or make you have a bad day.
Right.
Or just destroy your future. So just, hey, this is a moment. We'll get past this moment and move on.
Well, so just like working through frustrations.
Gotta work through it. And just remember, it's just a moment. It's just right now. You feel this way right now.
Right.
I promise you, in like 20 minutes, you're not going to feel that way.
Right. I feel like the struggle with that, though, usually is kind of like, all right, so I'll speak for myself and just like, you know, people that I've talked to. I feel like when you're really working on something and you don't see it working, or you feel like you're not getting back what you're putting into it, that's when people will tend to give up or kind of think like, oh, well, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. Maybe I'm on a wrong path. Like, what would help you kind of, like, what kept you motivated and like believing like that you were on the right path?
So the biggest thing was, I believe God's not going to bring you to leave you. So the signs, so God gave me the vision from the beginning. So I got to believe in the vision. There's going to be tons of things that's going to say, hey, stop. Hey, don't do this. But if you believe in the vision and you believe in the promise of God, then you have to keep going. You cannot give up. It's just what it is. And it's going to be so many times where you want to give up.
Right.
But like, to be honest, I haven't felt like it's been so many ups and downs, but I haven't even felt like I wanted to give up, probably except the first year I opened this place. I never want to give up.
For real?
It's just something that's not in my plans, because I know, like, hey, God got me. He got me.
Right.
He got me.
And that's, to be honest, I feel like that's the thing that a lot of people are missing. Like, people who will give up or will kind of like let them distractions or frustrations just completely like stray them from their plan, is like they might not feel like they have God, or like they might not be looking to God. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's typically what's missing. So I know a frequently asked question, you know, when people say they know that they know God has a promise for them or whatever, like, how did you differentiate? Like, how do you know it wasn't just your will, like what you wanted? And how do you know you wasn't being stubborn in what you wanted, you know?
Exactly. So, again, I'll take it back to the time where I'm like, hey, I didn't pray for things. I prayed for a vision. So I'm like, I'm working at Burger King, I'm working at Chipotle. I'm like, God, this isn't, these jobs, this situation, this circumstance where I'm in, isn't what you have for me. Show me the way. And then when I start just following God, He started literally showing me the way, and the doors start opening, like Chipotle. So I left Burger King because now they made me a manager at Chipotle. So I was working two. So I left one to work the other. And then I walked in and they was like, hey, we want to let you go. I'm like, why?
What, at Chipotle?
Yeah. I'm like, why? Like, you added too much seasoning to the meat. I literally have people calling up here just asking them I want a grill because they only want to eat while I'm there. So like, are you serious? Like, you added too much seasoning on me. This is a place where I worked for 5 years. I'm like, are you serious right now? I'm like, okay. So I was upset, but again, I'm still believing in God. So I like called one of my friends who I knew, he worked at a temp agency. I'm like, bro, I just got let go. I need a job. He like, man, I got this place that would be good for you. It's a prison. This is a temp agency. Who do you ever know that works at the prison through a temp agency? So I literally worked the temp agency. I got this contract for the kitchen. I worked through the temp agency for like a month, and then I got hired in full time. And it was just God showing you the way. Just stay faithful. Just stay faithful. Just stay faithful. He was just showing me the way. Yeah. It just kept falling like that.
That's what's up. I mean, so, like I said, I feel like when you do get that relationship, it's a little bit easier to say that. You know what I mean? It's easier because that's already your foundation. So I guess, like, what would be like your advice to people who are kind of teeter-tottering, like, you know what I mean? Like, my life ain't going right. Like, I don't know if I can really count on God. I don't know if I can trust Him, believe in Him. A lot of people don't even know it's a thing, you know? What would you say to them to encourage them to kind of create that relationship?
So I feel like a lot of people, they're willing to try anything. People try so much stuff. Why not try God?
Right.
I'm just being honest. Why not try it? And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But the God I serve has never, ever let me down. I'm just being real. Like, just try it. Just try it and start asking for things. Start asking for signs. Like, like going. I remember my mom like this doesn't even have to do about church. It's just this is strictly spiritual.
Yeah.
I remember my mom. She wanted to buy this house, and this is how real God is. She talked to the pastor. She was like, "Hey, I want to buy this house. Pray for me." And God was like, "You pray for yourself." She said, the pastor told my mom, "You pray for yourself. I'll pray for you, but I want you to act. I want you to be precise in your prayer.
Right.
I want you to ask God to give you signs if this house is for you." So she was super precise, like, God, let the lady wear a blue dress. Let the lady wear this. The lady came with a blue dress.
Really?
My mom signed it. I mean, so a lot of times we looking at God and thinking it's just this myth and it's this mystical creature, and we're not being direct with what we need from him. Like, you just gotta talk to him like it's like what it is. Hey, God, I need this.
Yeah.
Hey, I need this.
Yeah.
Show me a sign for this.
Yeah.
And look for the signs. Like, when I talk to him, he's always showing me signs.
Yeah.
He's always showing me signs.
True. So that's why, like you said, it's not even the church stuff, because it's not the religious aspect, it's the relationship. Like, it's just like your brother or your dad, like, you know, trusting when you go talk to your dad, you trust that he's going to tell you the right thing.
Right.
Even though he's human, even though he makes mistakes, he may not know everything, but you trust that he's going to use his wisdom from life and tell you the right thing. So I feel like it's the same thing, like, just like you said, having a conversation. But like you said, being specific, like, that's one of them things. One of my friends, you met her, Tosh.
Yep, Tosh.
The one who came with me, she always be telling me and Shaquille, like, be specific with your prayers. Like, really say exactly what you want. So, like, the whole, like you said, the blue dress. I would never think of something like that. I would probably just think, like, okay, I want a house. I wanted to have, you know, double doors in the front. I wanted to have this type of driveway, But it's like, you can still run into many houses like that. But like you said, she was like, oh, I need the lady to have a blue dress. So it's kind of like, you can't mistake that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's cute. I love the specifics. And like, you know what I mean?
One thing I also think about too, like, back in the day when you hear stories in the Bible, like, God was really opening up the sky, speaking to his people. Like, they're not no different than we are. He's still talking to us. We just have to listen. It might not be how the stories is, he's opening up the sky, but he's talking. Just listen.
But it kind of is. I feel like it's a perspective thing. Like, people might hear about them stories because they don't, first of all, hearing about it and then really reading it for yourself, completely different ball game.
Right.
And a lot of people just hear about it. You know, they don't really read it, and then they don't apply it and things like that. And that's totally different. So it's like when you read it and you see, like, oh, okay, this is practical stuff. Like, this is kind of normal. You know what I mean? Then you're able to interpret it when you see it in regular life. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't see no water parting and like, it do happen though, but it's just like our perception is so, well, I don't want to say ours. Some people's perception is so just against it that they don't want to believe that it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, these things are happening. There's unexplainable things happening all the time, and we just think like it's science or, you know. But that's neither here nor there.
Get with it.
That's neither here nor there. So, like, that would be your advice, though. It's just, like, you know, follow God, and if you don't believe in it right now, just, like, ask for something specific and get the signs.
Yeah, just ask for specific, be specific, and just stay the course. I'm telling you, it's real. It's
That's
real.
lit. All right. Well, okay. I want to get into your personal business a little bit more. So, before we leave, so whenever you had got this gift, you know, and the lady just believed in your business plan, which I know business plans are not easy to create. So how did you go through that process before I get to the next question?
So to be honest, I worked with a company. It was a company. It was called Biz Plan Made Easy. They asked me a bunch of questions because I wanted to have graphs and I wanted to just have wanted to be very specific in what I wanted. So I just worked with them, and
did you have to pay a lot for it?
it was about $400, $400 or $500, I believe.
I mean, that's not bad for it to create this.
Exactly. It was a 21-page plan.
Yeah.
I mean, it came with everything I needed.
Yeah. And then what was my second question? Oh, okay, so I was going to ask you, once you did get this and you said it was raw and everything, how did you build up the capital? Like, because you said you were still working at the prison. So were you just paying for stuff out of pocket, or like were you getting loans? How did you get the capital to create this out of a raw building?
Yeah, so a lot of it was literally bootstrapping. I'll say the lady, Lois, she put up $750,000.
Oh, really? Sheesh!
I mean, she believed in me, and
That's what's up.
that's another thing. So I think I came up with about 50 grand myself, family, My mom created a GoFundMe for me.
Aww. So everybody was 10 toes down.
Yeah, I'm just saying, for real. Everyone knew. They believed in me. And then again, along the way, a lot of it was God. So I got these booths and a lot of these tables from just auctions. Restaurant closed, so I bought every table in here from a restaurant that was already here that closed. And I just put my logo on top. I think I got them for like $10. Then we got all the
the tables?
The tables. And we got all the booths for like 50 cents.
Shut up!
So it was off an auction we just did.
That's crazy.
She gave me all the chairs. And then a lot of it was just us working. So we, the walls, we did all the work on ourselves. The paint, it was just painting.
Well, like you bricklayed all these walls.
So there was like some stuff on it, but behind that was just brick, this beautiful brick.
Yeah.
So we were just sledgehammering it, got to the brick. There was like 8 layers of tile on this floor. This was the original floor.
8 layers?
Yeah. Throughout the years, they just kept putting stuff on top. And then it was nails. It was 1 million nails. And we literally took 6 months with a hammer, just pulling nails up for 6 months.
Oh my God, I know a little something. I know a thing or two about that.
It's bad. We built the bar, and I just had friends who believed in what I was doing, and I'll come up there, bro. I'll come up for a week. I'll come up. I got a couple hours a day.
That's what's up. That's God though.
Yeah, and we just got it together.
Real. That's really God because it's hard. It's hard to get like support. You know what I mean? Like it's just hard to get support. So to find a woman who believed in your business plan so much that she gave you a space, put up a lot of money for you, you know what I mean? Getting your family involved, like that's not super easy. But when something's in God's plan, I feel like that's when it's always.
Yeah, and then I believe too, numbers, like the business plan had numbers in there and they were, so a lot of times when people go to investors or people looking for things from business people, it has to make sense for you and it has to make sense for them as well.
Of course.
So in our business plan, the first year said that we'll make $1.7 million. And for me, I was like, what? It's like, I'm not, what the hell? I just didn't think it was possible. And it was even higher than that because like they go off the profit, so they do business around how many people they get per hour, and then your average plate cost. And they just come up with these crazy numbers and say, oh, this is what you'll make your first year, times bills and all that stuff.
Yeah, like operation and all that.
And for me, not owning a business before, it just didn't seem real. But to her, it was okay.
Yeah, that's common to her.
It seemed real. So she's still behind it, and she's still behind me. She's one of my.
I know that's right.
My mentor. I call her about anything I need to
talk
about.
Yeah. See, that's why I need to pay people that do stuff professionally because like we be thinking. I feel like in this social media day and age, we kind of think like we got the blueprints and stuff in our heads. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. So it's like we'll try to create a business plan by ourselves and do this by ourselves. But like you said, when you look at the numbers, you're like, what? But to a regular business person, she's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And we don't believe enough to invest in ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we'll have, like you said, $400 for a business plan. We'll spend a couple $100 on some shoes, you know, getting your hair done. Girl, women pay, you know, at least $500 for lace front wigs and this, that, and the third, but won't invest that same type of money into like your dream. And I feel like that has a lot to do with not really believing in it. You know what I mean? And I don't know what kind of support you had with believing in your dream, or if you just truly believe because God was showing you stuff. But I don't know. I just hope that my generation, you know, really starts to believe in ourselves a lot more and get more comfortable with investing in ourselves and not just our look or, you know, perception and trying to make people think we got this going on. Meanwhile, we're not investing because all it was that business plan, and then you got everything else just, you know, snowball.
Yep.
So
just put the work in, man. Just put the work in. Believe in yourself. Don't be scared to invest in yourself. Just do it, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
You're working for other people.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
And we all hate it. I've never heard. Yeah, I don't think I can really recall hearing somebody work for someone else and absolutely just love it, being loved. Like, no.
And then one good thing about me too, though, is I've worked for sucky bosses, so that kind of gives me a leg up. Like all my bosses were sucky. I had some cool ones, but a lot of them were sucky. Like a lot of them were always intimidated by me, so I had a rough time. So I pour into my staff, like.
Yeah.
I just know how it is. So I try to be
Yeah.
relatable. I pour into them. We do fun things.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So like, what are some of this? Like, how do you do that? Because I always tell people like, yeah, when I'm a boss of a big old company, like I want to be the best boss, and I want to make sure they feel like they can't live without me, and in a good way, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So like, what's some of the stuff that you do to make sure that your people love working for you?
Yeah, so competitive wage is one. Like a lot of people, they just want to make all the money, and that's just not what it's going to be. Especially if you want to stay around, have good workers. Especially like restaurants and places like this. I feel like this building can stay the building, but my people make the building. I mean, a lot of times customers come here to see my staff,
Right,
and they'll
right.
come back. Hey, she's here. I'm coming back, or they'll say
Right.
the bar because they know. So once they know that, I mean, and I'm like, hey guys, this is yours just as much as mine. This is ours.
Right.
We're a team.
Right.
I try to run it as a family. Employee of the month, we give out gift cards. Next month we're giving out a flat screen TV. Just things like that. Buckeye tickets. Zoo tickets. Just stuff like that to make people feel appreciated.
Yeah, that's lit. What are some of the things that you do as far as like money management? Because you went from making like, you know, average money to, I'm pretty sure your wage skyrocketed, I would hope. Yeah. Like,
little
so
different.
how did you go from, because I feel like it's tough. Like, it's one thing to jump from regular life to success, but it's like, all right, so then when you're successful, how do you manage that money? Because I think that's a lot of people's downfall. Like, I think that that's a struggle of mine. You know what I mean? Like, I'll make average money or I'll make really good money a year, but it's like I will live the same regardless because of my money management. So it's like, all right, I know that I'm probably not ready for millions of dollars because I don't know what to do with it yet. So how do you manage money?
So I don't know. For me, I never really ever was a big spender. Like everybody who knows me, like, oh, he's so stingy. That boy's stingy.
But
like,
you got the Mr. Crab thing
yeah,
going?
they always say that about me. I mean, but I just kind of still spend the same way. Like, hey, only thing I ever buy is shoes. And I'm always looking for generational wealth because I
Yeah.
understand, like, I got two sons, and I really, really get it. Like,
Oh, so you're a boy dad.
yeah, I'm a boy dad.
That's
so
lit.
I feel like everything I do is for the next generation.
Yeah.
It's generational. So it's just like when you feel that way and you think that way, like I'm past all the fashion stuff. I like
Right.
sneakers, so that's the only thing I really get into. But like outside of that, it's just, and then accountants. I have accountants who take care of everything for me. I mean, and they're up on me. So hey, this is this, this is this.
How do you build trust with those people?
Since I've opened,
Hey, you're leaving me hanging. Look.
I got you. Since I opened in the 7th year, I've switched accountants 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. But once you find a good one.
What
so-
made you switch? Like, how did you vet and figure out, like, all right, these ones that I got now are good?
So you'll know. Just like there's. So I feel like accountants not only supposed to watch your money, but put you up on game and different things because that's what they do. So there's tons of grants and things that come out that hey, your accountant should hey, this is out. There's money that you qualify for that I want to put you up on. An average
that's
accountant
it.
is just they won't tell you, or they just
Yeah.
they'll just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had one that really, really didn't do their job too much. It's just small things, but those small things,
Yeah, they count.
yeah. The one I got now, she's fire.
It's a woman?
It's a
Oh,
woman.
that's lit. Shout her out if you don't mind.
Sue, you know, Sue. Custom professional accounting.
Is that based here in Marion?
Yep, that's based here in Marion. They're awesome. I've been working with them now for I think 2 years, a little over 2 years.
That's what's up.
Payroll to taxes to everything.
That's what's up. And then she'll let you know, like, when grants are available
Grants are
that you apply for,
available.
that you qualify for.
Yep, she'll send me all the paperwork I need to submit for the grants.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So yeah, she's fire. She's fire.
Yeah.
She's fire.
Because it's so tough, like, being an entrepreneur and, like, its beginning stages, trying to be your own accountant, your own marketer, your own content creator, your own everything. You know what I mean? We don't specialize in that stuff. Like, I don't know when certain grants are coming out, and by the time I find out about it, it's like 3 days later, the deadline, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get this in 3 days. Like, So that's lit to know that, because I didn't even know accountants will tell you about grants and stuff like that. I thought that they literally just count your money and make sure everything's where it's supposed to be, and you know.
Yeah, especially if you get like a local one. Like, 'cause at first I was dealing with ADP. They'll do your taxes, they'll do your payroll, they'll do all that, but they won't tell you the grant stuff. They won't.
Like, it ain't personal.
Exactly. So with the small business, this is a small business just like I am. So a lot of the same stuff I'm applying for, they're applying for because they're still a small business too.
Right.
So they're just putting you up on it.
I like that. So it's like relatable.
Yes. Yes.
I think I had stopped you. You were talking about just basically how you do money management. I had stopped you at the accountant thing because you were like, you know, vetting. But I'm like, that's important.
No. What else? So
Do
money
you do
management.
a lot of investing?
So I invest. So I do real estate, of course, because I feel like real estate is always growing.
Yeah.
I invest in like physical gold and silver. I love that stuff too.
Really?
Yes.
Talk me through that, because like, what do you mean?
So I buy silver and gold bars. So let's just say
Bars?
Yeah.
Like literal just gold bars?
Yeah, gold bars or coins. But let's just say, only reason I know this, I think it's close to it because I just was telling someone about this the other day. They were born in '95. So in 1995.
Oh, I was born in 95.
Yeah, the price of gold was, I believe, was around $336. And now the price of gold is like almost 2,000. So it's like 1990s, something like that.
For a bar?
For 1 ounce. So it could be a bar, it can be a coin, 1 ounce of pure gold. So with that being said, like, let's say in 1995, you and I decided we both had $336. You buried yours in the ground, and I bought that 1 ounce of gold. Today, mine will be worth $2,000, and yours will only be worth $336.
Why?
Because your money, you just buried the money. So let's say it over.
But if I dig it up and like now the day has changed, it's not worth what today's.
No, so let's say it's over. So we both have $336, right? You just bury your $336 in the ground.
Oh, you talking about the money?
Yeah, just the cash. And then I go buy a gold bar with mine.
Right.
And then bury my gold bar. And then we both dig it up today.
Right.
I have $2,000.
Right.
You still only have $336.
Right.
So like gold and silver is something that's always growing. And you can look at projections. Like, so right now, I just was looking at it last night. Price of silver is $26. And then it's projected in the next 10 years to be like 190 something. So if you got it in right now, buy 1 ounce of gold at $26 and just put it away.
Yeah.
And in 10 years it'll be worth 196. So if you buy a bunch of it, it's just another investment. So
is it like jewelry, or you'll just go to like a coin? Like, how do you?
So I buy offline. There's places that you can just buy physical.
Like literally just an ounce of silver.
Yes. It's not like jewelry at all. It's like bars.
You said you like this. You like
Is that rosé?
Yeah. Cause I'm about to be done. I don't know if you're gonna make it to the rosé, but
Take it home.
I was gonna pour it.
Pour it.
I'll take it home.
Yeah, take it home. Keep it.
I will take it home, and I guess I'll just pour this. Cause my friend likes this. Shaquille, remember you love this? She loves this blue. She loves that blue Bel Air, so I'm gonna take that for her as a souvenir, and she'll be really happy about it.
What's up, Shaquille? We're going to go out right here.
Where?
It's calling me. What's up, Al?
Look, I'm looking around like.
You here? Yeah. Yeah.
How long have we been? An hour and some change.
Oh, you good? You good?
Really? Oh, yay! I love that.
For entertainment.
Yeah, this was educational. That's lit. What else should I ask? Because I'm out of questions for real. I was just going to like, we've been recording for an hour. I was just going to be like, alright, so. Yeah, more stuff.
Said he's on his way. So there's there's mad it's like websites.
Hold on, let me clap real quick.
Clap. So there's tons of websites where you can just go to buy silver and gold. So there's like silver bars or silver coins.
And you just save them physically?
Yep, you just save it physically, and it always shows the price. So this is the price of gold right now. This moves daily. It moves by the second, really. This is the price of silver right now. So let's just say we wanted to buy some gold right now.
You feel like silver is worth it? Because how come it's so much cheaper?
So look, so silver right now is $24, right? So it's just about projections and what they think the projection is. You always look at nothing. Silver and gold never stays the same. That's the only thing that won't stay the same. It'll always go.
Well, like it jumps. I need some new lip gloss. Hold on, one
Price
second.
of silver projection 2030. Yeah, you good.
How accurate do the projections be though?
That'd be pretty accurate.
Yeah. Cause I know I don't really know. So I just now bought, I just bought this class from, do you know who Wall Street Trapper is?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think he's from Louisiana or something. And I just bought his little class. It's called Jumping Off the Porch. What, scammy?
I don't know.
You think it's scammy?
You gonna tell me?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. It's in my email somewhere. I haven't started the class yet, but I'm going to.
But even on this, you can track it from like you can go back to your birthday and track silver and see where it was.
Oh, for real?
You can just see what the price was, and then you can see where it's going. But it's always going to go. So you got to think everything that's solar panel takes silver.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So any solar panel you need silver to go. So there's a bunch of things that we're going that's technology based that need silver and gold to go.
I never knew that. So what does silver have to do with solar panels?
I don't know. It's a conductor or something. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that
And
ever.
then, I don't know if you remember back in the day, like our U.S. dollar was backed by gold and silver.
Yeah.
And then they took that away, and so the currency was just what it was.
Yeah.
So China and Russia, I heard, were making a currency that's going to be backed by silver and gold. So it's going to be the dominated currency. So you just want things that's backed by, I don't know, it's just something else I invest in.
Yeah.
Because it grows.
Yeah. Dang, I had something in my head. And I forgot it. I forgot. Dang, because I had asked you about investing in money management. I don't know. We might have covered it. You talked about your accountants. And then investing in metal. Dang. I don't know. We might have covered it. I don't know. So what else is so do you feel like metal is just like really sure? Because I don't know where to begin when it comes to investing. Like I'll look at stuff like, of course, stocks. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, what's one of the most popular stocks? But it's like, it's so up and down. It's hard to learn. So how do you know what's really promising? Or is there anything that's promising? Like,
I don't know. For me, I just feel like metals, of course. Gold and silver is just one of those things that's always going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, real estate, I feel like it's dope. I like real estate.
Yeah.
Stocks are dope too. I mean, just depending on how you do it and who you have doing it for you. I mean, there's tons of things to invest in. I feel like stocks you just have the time
Yeah.
or have the right people doing it for you. Real estate is big for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the whole real estate game. So my dad gave me a property. I have absolutely no idea. You know what I mean? About nothing. Like about what to do with it. Wait, did it stop? Okay. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what to do with it. Like that's why when you were talking about the floors and stuff, like pulling up nails, I'm like, I definitely know about that firsthand because I peeled up some towel and stuff like that, and it was like raw floor, and I had to pull up nails and stuff just to
Yeah.
And it's just so much, like just from like having to get a new roof and just all types of stuff. Like I don't know, it's confusing and it's a lot. That's why I'm like, how did you go from like, did you know anything about that stuff when you first got this building, or you literally just along the way had to?
Yes, I literally do nothing about that. Like I'm literally just I'm literally just a chef. But for real. But I had people that were coming in like, hey, this is what you do, this is what you do. I always had a vision what I wanted to look like, but I just didn't know how to do a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah.
So we did a bunch of the demo stuff. So we broke everything down. We did the floors, we did the walls, we painted. But after that, we had like paid a bunch of people. That's when the money came involved. So they like built this wall here for the bathroom, put this ductwork in, put all the lights in. Put this stuff here, built the bar. That's where a bunch of that stuff came in. But as far as like all the grunt work, we did all this stuff.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, it was
It's
bad.
tough. Oh, I know that's another thing I wanted to ask you to speak on was like, just like the asking people, like, you know, humbling yourself enough to talk to people and be like, you know, this is what I got going on. Like, I do need help in these areas. Was that a struggle for you, or how did you go about that? Because I know pride be a thing that makes it hard to ask for help.
Yeah, at first I was, but I feel like I was so caught up in going and getting the mission going and opening that I feel like that went all the way out the door for me. It was just not there at all. I was trying to open. I had a mission. And then I was working too, so like I was literally paying my bills. And then another thing that helped me out too, so I was living in a duplex that I owned. So all I had was the bills. I didn't have a mortgage because the guy downstairs paid the mortgage. I made $200 off of it. So it was just like everything that I made literally went here.
Yeah, that's what's up. And even that, okay, so I remember someone telling me before, I don't remember if it was real estate or what it was related, but I think it was real estate. But it was like investing in something and having somebody pay your mortgage off, and like you're only making like $100 profit. I feel like people will be like, oh, that's it, that's all, because they're looking to like live off of the profit. When it's like, instead of seeing a bigger picture.
So it's a huge bigger picture. So this is how it was for me. So
I bought there's a huge bigger picture.
For real. So I bought the duplex and it was $45,000 when we first bought it. It's now worth $160,000.
I was about to say, man, real estate like that is done.
It tripled, and then the whole time we were living there, I had someone living downstairs. The mortgage was $450 a month. I was charging him $650, and then I lived for free. And then all I had to do was pay my gas and light bill.
On top of you still having a job.
And I still had a job. So it's like, you look at the long term. So now it tripled in value. Not only the property tripled in value, so then when you move, now that house, the upstairs will pay for your next house that you live in, or your next property you want to buy.
It's crazy because I think that has a lot to do with just being humble. Like we all kind of, man, social media got us fucked up. It got us tore up, especially like, I'll say people in my generation definitely suffer from it. You know what I mean? I feel like you literally just made it out of my generation. Yeah. But like we suffer from it, but the ones beneath us, oh my goodness, they really suffer from it. Like social media is like the end all be all. Like if I'm not measuring up to what's being seen on Instagram or whatever the case is, they don't want it. So I think that that's one of the things that really stops us, like thinking that, okay, I earn something, now I can quit my job. This is supposed to pay for me and my bills and this and that, and I don't want to have to work. So it's just like, I don't know. I hope that after people watch this, they realize, like, you know what I mean? Still work. Just because you have a property, keep working. I just think it's humbleness, being humble and knowing what's to come later.
So we even, 2 weeks, I'm opening up a new restaurant in Columbus.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so we're opening up a new restaurant, Ohio State campus.
Shut up!
Yeah, it's on campus. It's really dope concept. It's a kind of concept off this. We kind of just spent it a little bit. But it's just still wanting more. I just feel like if you're a true entrepreneur, you just got that in you, and you never get settled. just cannot just be enough's enough. If you
I
really
didn't know
want
it was in Columbus. I thought you were
Yes.
opening up another one in Marion.
yeah, so it's in Columbus. The big thing about Marion is it's only 37,000 people here. So it's
Yeah.
only so many people you're going to be able to feed.
Yeah.
Columbus is like, there's 75,000 people within a 5-mile radius. It's like triple the population here.
You said Ohio State's campus.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
lit.
it's going to be crazy. Super excited.
Because
Super
kids
excited.
eat. Listen, athletes.
That's Andrew right there. Tri-Rivers guy I was telling you about.
Yeah, that's super lit. Well, I don't know if there's anything. Let me see. We've been recording for like an hour and 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to really wrap it all up. We talked about your business, your personal. You were so vague about the personal. Oh, you know what? Okay, boom. I'm gonna get in your business again because every time I talk to women, they're always talking about their kids and how, like basically just how their kids changed their life or how they push through. Because a lot of female, I don't know how different it is being a dad than being a mom, but moms are always talking about how, like, you know, having kids and trying to do this and trying to do that. Like, how was that for you? Because I never get to hear a dad's perspective.
Yeah. So the only reason I'm in Marion right now is because of my son. I mean, that was what brought me here.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a father.
Yeah.
And then everything I do now is for my sons.
Yeah.
Again, it's generational wealth. So I'm trying to give them a good name.
Yes.
I'm trying to give them a good business or some good properties, some stuff that they can have that. I mean, I had a good childhood. My mom was awesome to me, but you always want to do better.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I mean, that's why I do everything I do is for my sons.
Right. And did that ever kind of like interfere, like whenever you were working and also coming here and, you know, putting skin in the game? I like to say skin in the game. I don't know where I learned that from. But like, you know what I mean? Really like putting your all into this and building this. I know that took time. Like, how was that? Did that take time away from your sons?
Yeah, especially in the beginning. Like, so right now I kind of like take some time to like even it out and trust your staff. But in the beginning, yeah, like baseball games, my son played baseball, so there was a bunch of games that I wasn't able to go to, and that stuff takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
But you just gotta reassure your kids, like, hey, I love you. And,
Right. And now they get to see.
Yeah.
How do your sons feel about this? Like, are they old enough to comprehend? Like, yo, like my dad's really a boss. Like,
You know, they always got their hand out, so they spoiled, man. But yeah, they're good kids. They know.
Yeah.
They know. I mean, they're always bringing their friends up here.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
How old is your oldest son?
My oldest is 17.
Oh,
He's a
he's
senior.
grown. Now you got your big boy.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
senior this year. And then my other one's 13.
Oh, okay, they're both old enough to be like, all right.
They know what's up.
Yeah, you said they always got their hands off.
For real. My oldest one, he works, but the youngest one, he's
He's spoiled. So like, are they inspired? Like, do they like cooking and do they look forward to like working for you, or do they want to? Is it kind of like a complex for them? Like, oh, I want to create my own thing, because you know.
Yeah. So my oldest, he's into real estate, and so yeah. So that's my biggest thing, just trying to set him up and make sure that when he's ready to graduate, that he's able to hop into that real estate stuff.
That's lit.
My little son, he cooks. He does like to cook. He's always making a new sauce or.
Aww.
You think he's Chinese? He likes making everything Chinese. It's
Aw.
crazy. It's crazy.
I feel him because Chinese food is fire.
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel him. That's lit though.
So yeah, they're good kids. I feel like they're just trying to make their own way. We'll see. We'll see.
What do you see? Like, what do you see in your kids that is you?
Everything.
Everything.
Especially my little son. He's like, look,
Yeah.
he's me all the way.
For
But
real?
both of them, they both have drive. They're both smart. They're both hustlers. They both love sneakers and fashion. So yeah, they're literally me. They're me and her mom. They're
Real?
both, yeah, it's like a split.
That's what's up. So they grew up in Marion?
Yeah. So my oldest, he was born in Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh, baby.
Yeah, he was born there, and he lived in Philly with us for I think a year, and then they've been here ever since.
So he got a little bit of city life in him, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Do you think that, like, I was just talking to Jeremy on the way up here, like, we were driving through and we were just looking at, like, how peaceful it seems, because there's not, like, too much going on, you know, and Pittsburgh's not far from that either,
Right.
but there's definitely more going on in Pittsburgh than here.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, you know, I asked him would he raise his kids here, because he has kids. I don't have kids yet. So, like, I often think about, like, you know, what kind of place do I want to raise my kids in? Do I want to raise them somewhere like here? Do I want to raise them in the city so that they're ready for it? Because me growing up in Pittsburgh, and then going to a place like Philly, and then going to Houston, Texas, you know what I mean? It's such a big difference, and like I wasn't humble enough to realize, like, oh, this is gonna be so different. Like I went through way more as far as just being outside when I went to Houston than I ever did in Pittsburgh. 28 years in Pittsburgh. Like my first 4 months in Texas, I went through so many things, like stuff that I just didn't know how to look out for because I'm used to Pittsburgh.
Right.
So like, how do you feel about raising your kids in a smaller town, and how ready for the world do you think they'll be?
I mean, so I try to keep them ready and just keep on exposing them stuff. And we take trips and we see stuff, but I mean, I wouldn't want them to be raised anywhere other than here. It's super chill. The schools are awesome. They're super educated. They're way more intelligent. The schools are way better than the ones I went to. The only thing I don't like is the African American history that I've got in my school that they don't do here. But outside of that, it's cool. But I am scared. And I feel like that's any parent though. You're scared for your babies to go out to the world. You just never feel like they're ready enough.
My mom says that all the time. She's like, being a parent is one of them things where like you're just worried for the rest of your life. And like not like, she doesn't try to make it seem negative to me, but like just in reality, she's like, it's just one of them things you're just worried forever. Like anytime she knows I'm on the road, and I'm always on the road, she's like, I'm worried until you text me and let me know you're there, but I also try to give you your space because you're grown, you know what I mean?
I totally understand what she's talking about. I get it. I get it.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Do you want kids?
Definitely. I feel like that's, I mean, I don't want to say like I feel like that's the purpose of women, but I do. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like if a woman doesn't want to have kids that she's wrong at all, but I just feel like what am I doing in life if I'm not going to have kids? Like I feel like everything I'm doing is for the next, you know, or else it's just going to die with me.
I understand totally. For sure.
So of course I definitely want kids, but I'm scared because I just don't want to worry. I don't feel like that. I want to be like easy because I'm super like, I guess nonchalant. Like I just enjoy life, you know what I mean, and I don't want to worry.
It's just how you prepare them. If you prepare them good, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You're gonna worry regardless.
I know.
It's just what it is. You're gonna be.
And I be telling my mom, because I'm like, Mom, you did such a good job. Like, you don't trust yourself. Like, you know what I mean? When she's worried, and she's like, well, are you doing this? Are you doing that? And I be like, dude, like, you was on me as a, like, growing up as a woman. Like, she was on me. And I'm like, do you not trust yourself? Like, do you not feel like you did a good job? But I know that she understands that she's not the only influence, and, like, the world is so big.
It's major. It's major.
Yeah, it's scary.
She did a good job. You're good.
Oh, thanks. I think she did a good job too. Like I remember, this is like something random, but I remember when I was in college, we had this basement party or whatever, and this girl, she had on a pencil skirt. You know what pencil skirts are?
Little tight ones.
Yeah, like the little shorts tight. Okay. And we were in a party, and we was like, you know how kids dance, like we was dancing and music was jumping, so like she's getting picked up, and you know how people dance with a pencil skirt on. So like her skirt's all the way up, her legs is open, she's getting and I'm just like, it was probably like, it was between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I sent my mom the longest text I ever sent her. And I was like, thank you so much for being on me. I know I hated you when I was in high school. I was like, no, but literally I see what you were trying to prevent. Like I see it, I get it now, I get it. Just from watching that girl make a fool out of herself, I got it. Like, and it be little things like that. Ain't it? It be little things like that that make you be like, oh, this is what my mom was trying to avoid. This is what she didn't want for me. You know what I mean? So, thanks, Mom.
Right.
I'm super thankful all the time. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought she was just the hardest mom. I'm like, damn, like, I'm going out seeing other people's moms. They smoking with their kids. They drinking with their kids. They're letting us have parties and all this. And I'm like, and my mom barely want me to leave the house. Like, what is going on?
I hope my kids say that once they get older.
They will.
I'm on them.
They will. They'll get it. They'll be like, oh, all right. You ain't want us to be like.
Right.
So I get it, cause I'm one of the I'm like the last of a dying breed as far as the people I went to high school with that don't got kids.
Right.
You know, and not saying that having kids is bad, cause I'm 28, so it's not. You know, it's few and far in between.
What you waiting for?
I'm married.
Marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want a husband, and I want to like build a family. I don't want to just have kids and like.
Yeah. Makes sense.
You know,
family.
yeah, because my mom, I watched my mom do that. You know, she had kids and had to do everything herself, and you know, and not to say she struggled, because I had a really good childhood. Like, she did really, really good as a mom when I was a kid by herself, but just being older and understanding what comes with that, just taking care of myself, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's me and I have a dog.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, I be worried when I'm doing stuff like this, leaving my dog at home. So I'm like, just imagine if I had a human, you know?
Are you the only child?
No, I have a little brother. He's 21.
21?
And he's spoiled because he's the only boy. Yeah, he's spoiled. And I just feel like our upbringing was a lot different. We're 7 years apart. You know, I'm a girl. My mom is a woman, so she knows how to raise a woman. I feel like my brother, she was a lot more lenient. You know, that was her boy. And now she's like, oh, his attitude is so bad and he has a problem with authority. And I'm like, yeah, it's your fault.
Baby, though. Baby.
But I can't tell her that. But you know what I mean?
I understand.
So yeah, I don't know. When it comes to having kids, I just want help. I don't want to have to figure it out alone. Like
You shouldn't.
Yeah. I feel like that's gonna be hard already. So I don't want to do it by myself. And I want my kids. I want it to be normal to have like a 2-parent household for my kids. So you know, that's all.
Fire. Fire.
Alright, well, we only drank one wine this episode, which is kind of rare. We usually like try different ones.
Tore up.
I know. But look, I'm like, look, we out of town.
Yes, you gotta
and
drive
we gotta
safe.
drive back home.
Yes, you gotta stay safe.
So yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you so much.
Of course.
Had a blast. Had a blast.
I'm taking some food home.
Do whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Wait, is it closed?
No.
Oh,
We're close to 10 tonight.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
You're good.
Alright, cool.
Whatever you like. It's on me.
Y'all, the gumbo. What else did I have? The fried, what is it? What fish was it that was fried?
Catfish?
Catfish. Oh, the hush puppies. People don't even be having hush puppies no more.
What?
Not in Pittsburgh, at least.
Gotta have hush puppies.
Yo, the fried catfish and hush puppies, the shrimp and grits, the gumbo, fire.
Thank you.
No, the peach cobbler?
Peach cobbler, fire.
Listen, I'm fat. I love food,
I like
man.
food too. I'm with you. I'm a foodie.
Yeah, everything I tasted here was fire. So make sure y'all come here. We're gonna do some, B-roll and stuff like that, so we can show you know where it's at and the outside and the signs and stuff. Cause y'all have to come to Marion, Ohio. If not for anything else, come for Attaboys.
Better believe it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Come support. Thank you so much for having me here.
You're welcome.
And it's been another good episode of Wind Down Wednesday. Bye. I love you guys.
Fire.
Woo! It gets drier and drier every time, don't it?